Shalom, brothers and sisters in Christ. Today's Gospel speaks about the Beatitudes, and I think if we were to really know the Beatitudes, we would also know that it is not really what the world encourages us, but what Christ calls us to through the Beatitudes is to really just embrace the place that we are at. He calls each of this a blessed place. He calls each of this blessed. And when a place that a thing is blessed, it is deemed to be holy, it is deemed to be set apart for His glory. And each of these areas, if we were to really look at it in the Beatitudes, we would see that these areas don't happen in the easiest or most happiest part of our lives. A lot of times the Beatitudes, we are living it out from a place that is very maybe painful, that is sad, from a place that we are really struggling in. And when we are in those places, a lot of times our aim is to not stay there, but our aim is to just want to get out of it. We are just constantly striving to move forward so that we will not be in this place of needing to be peacemakers, needing to constantly show mercy from a place of hurt, needing to be all these things that the Lord calls us to be mourning, to be hunger and thirst for righteousness, to be poor in spirit. As we read them, we would think that yes, I want them, but in the moment, I think a lot of us just wait to move away from it. And the Lord, when He calls an area blessed, He wants us to really embrace it. He wants us to really love that area. And He, in turn, will take that area and make it better through His power and through His grace. And these areas, a lot of times, they can leave us feeling very little, very helpless. We feel that we are really just at a place of total poverty. And it is in this moment of helplessness that we learn that we are not wholly dependent on ourselves, but that we are wholly dependent on God. And when we speak about littleness, of being a little person with Christ, I think we would remember Saint Therese of Lisieux. And there's this quote that I would like to share with you from Saint Therese of Lisieux. And she tells us this: I know well that it is not my desires that please God in my little soul. What He likes to see is the way I love my kindness and poverty. It is my blind hope in His mercy. What He likes to see is the way I love my littleness and my poverty. The weaker one is without desires or virtues, the more ready one is for the operations of this consuming and transforming love. The weaker one is, the more ready we are. God rejoices more in what He can do in a soul humbly resigned to its poverty than in the creation of millions of suns and the vast stretch of heavens. And so, my brothers and sisters, Saint Therese really tells us that the Lord invites us to embrace the littleness that we are experiencing, because it is in those moments of littleness that we are most vulnerable, and it is in our vulnerability that God can do great things. God can do great things. He rejoices in our moments of vulnerability, not because He likes to see us suffer, but because He knows that this vulnerability that we are experiencing, this littleness, is what is going to make us attain heaven. It is these little moments that is what is going to allow us to spend eternity with Him. This Gospel today ends with, rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. And so I pray that as we learn to embrace our littleness, we will be able to rejoice in the little things on earth now. We will be able to rejoice in embracing our littleness, because this glimpse of joy and gladness that we experience does not compare to the reward that we will receive in heaven. So my brothers and sisters, just as we wrap up this time, I want to invite you to sit with the Beatitudes, to pray through it, and to ask the Lord in what way that each of us can be vulnerable, and each of us can learn to embrace our littleness, so that He will be able to use us for His greater glory, for the building of the kingdom, and so that we will be able to spend eternity with Him. My brothers and sisters, we seek the intercessions of Mama Mary and Saint Joseph and Saint Therese and all the other saints who have made it to heaven before us, who have learned the art, who have mastered the art of embracing the little things. May we too join them one day in heaven. God bless.